Dan, this is Latrell, and we got Alex here today.
Sure.
Well, again, it's the same three as last week. We're probably going to keep this three for a while. But we have two more movies for you this week. This week, one movie was sticking to my director lineup a little bit, and the other one is Alex's recommendation.
Woo!
We got Pan's Labyrinth
Yep.
and 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi.
The
Benghazi.
longest title movie ever.
Yeah, but God,
13 hours to read the title.
Yeah, 13 hours to read the title. I call it 13 hours regime change. But anyway.
13 hours regime change. Jesus. Oh my God.
We're gonna start with 13 hours, and we're gonna start with the disclaimer that no one here has any like political leanings or biases that leaned into any reasoning behind the choosing of this movie or us talking about this movie. You know,
We just wanted to watch the movie.
Yes, we just wanted to watch it's a fun little action war movie.
Yeah, it's a good war movie. Like it actually is.
Alex, this was your recommendation, as we stated. So, why don't you give? Well, I guess it's not a really hard synopsis. Just give the synopsis, I guess, and talk a little bit. I guess a little bit why you recommended it, why you like it. I don't know.
Well, this is kind of like I really enjoy Michael Bay as a director, and this is kind of Michael Bay coming off of the string of Transformers movies, and kind of it's before The Last Night, which I hate, but it gets right into kind of his tail end of his good movies, I feel like.
Okay.
Now it's essentially like if you don't understand the plot of the movie or the synopsis, it's basically you have two
True story.
US it's true story.
It is a true
You have
story.
two US, like a consulate and a CIA base that's left in Benghazi in Libya. And they are essentially attacked after a long stream of data collecting on them, even though they are the CIA people somehow.
Right.
And they are eventually attacked, first the consulate and then later the CIA base, because they lead them directly back to the CIA base.
Annex.
And it goes crazy from there. Lots of people die. Very horrible things happened, and I feel bad for all the families that this movie was made about.
Lots of people.
But it is also just it's kind of one of the better modern, not necessarily war movies, but war movies, in my opinion, that relates to more modern warfare.
Did Michael Bay do all the Transformer movies?
He didn't do all. He did a majority of them, though.
I know he did I knew he did like the first three. Did he do the ones with like Mark Wahlberg?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
He directed the first 5.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a little bit more of a serious movie than basically it's a CIA base that gets attacked and faces a few waves of attacks from like militants in Libya, and they have some, I don't know, they had those guys there for like other reasons, but they were kind of lucky to have them there because they kind of had some very well trained guys to hold off as much as they can. So even though they had like a low security detail, they managed to get a lot of people out of there.
Yeah, but I selected this movie for us mostly to be like politically aside. I think just you definitely experience Michael Bay in this movie at like a whole different type. Like
a lot of action.
It is a lot of action, but I think something that is very specific to Michael Bay is whenever you have like these large explosions, so like towards the end of the movie, you have the mortar that's essentially coming down onto the top of the building, and everything like it's progressing, it's fast, it's fast, it's fast, and then as it starts to drop, it slowly progresses into a slow-mo. But any explode, like if you go back and look at like the Transformers movie, Michael Bay loves like the slow-mo during
Slow-mo explosions.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that is his thing.
Ah,
That is his bread and butter.
yes, and that is very prevalent in this, but it also like gives him a little bit more freedom apart from the Transformers movies to
I,
kind of use some blood and gore as well, which he does I think they do a really decent job on, considering it's a war movie.
Bro, there are people
yeah,
getting like
I would have liked to see
obliterated.
more. Personally, I would have liked to see a little more of that. To be honest,
You think
I
so?
don't
I
know.
mean, okay, I've seen some. I've personally seen some. Okay, so I love war movies. You know, it's
Yes,
one of my favorite genres. But I've seen some movies where it's like maybe you need to tone it back a little bit. This one, I'm kind. I mean, it's true. Like literally, I'm like, okay,
yeah,
that's a bit much. But this one was, um, I I kind of agree. Like, yeah, I think some of it could have like you probably could have got a little bit more gore. But like, think about what was the? It was like towards the after the mortar scene that we are talking about, where I can't remember his name, but it was the dude with the beard, and his arm got
Boone.
like yeah, Boone. He got his arm
Oh, that
blown
was cool.
off. Or not like it wasn't off, but like his arm was just
It
dangling
was like
there.
in tatters. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was all fucked up.
that was crazy, and I was like,
It's
I was sitting there
best.
watching. I'm like, oh my god, he's just holding it. I'm like, dude, like, come on, man. And then you see a couple of people get like popped and shit like that, like
Right.
classic war movie stuff. But I don't know, I liked it.
Oh,
I liked the way they did that Michael Bay did that. Could have used a little bit more, sure,
I'm,
but
I'm,
I liked it.
I I'm glad that you guys enjoyed this movie.
Oh god.
because
Oh
Ribbit,
god.
ribbit, ribbit. It's ribbit.
because I did not. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
I thought it was a little corny. Um, I
There's
I
definitely a
don't
couple
know.
like
I wasn't a huge fan of the editing. Sometimes there were some scenes where I had like no idea what was going on. Like they were. I don't know. There was like a part where they're having a standoff in the bridge, and then some of the guys were getting shot from behind. But it looked like they were shooting at them at certain points. Like so, I didn't know who was shooting at each other. I said standoff at a bridge. It was more like an alley, not
You
like
talking about when they had the meetup when they brought what was his name? Was his name Hassam, the translator guy?
yeah. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
when
They're
they
like
were
get the cover. That guy was an idiot.
that's it. Yeah, that guy he kept putting his gun up and
I don't know.
and
I don't know.
whatever his
Yeah,
name
way
like
too many people just
Toto's face
like
or whatever his
wave
name was.
around their
Yeah.
guns. Like, I don't know
He
what is
kept,
going
well,
on.
no, I thought that was funny though because like I felt like it
Yeah, it was
became
funny.
intentional. He was like, "Can you please get the gun out of my face?" He's like,
Oh,
and he's
well,
like,
that
and
was
nobody
another
knows how to
editing
hold their
thing.
weapon.
Tonto was my favorite out
Tonto,
of
yeah,
all.
that's his name,
That was
Tonto.
another like editing thing that annoyed me a little bit though. And you guys probably didn't even like pay attention to it. I'm burdened by paying attention to certain things. I guess there's a lot of like, what's it called? Like where they like add like somebody will like say a line into a mic and then they'll like add it like to them off screen. It's like ADR or something. I don't know. There is like you can notice it sometimes because their voice sounds or like the level sounds different than everybody else's, or like a line that they just said. And one of those times was when he said, "Don't put that gun at me." I was like, "Oh, they just added that in at the end." I don't know. It's not a big thing. It doesn't ruin the movie. It's just I hate when I notice it. I also just don't like the editing for Michael Bay movies in general. Sometimes they have like the shot where it's like I don't know. It's like the camera's moving too fast a little bit.
He's a hater.
He's
a hater,
I
Chad.
especially feel this way when they shot. I don't know. I hate how he shoots people in cars, like when they're driving in cars, and like the action's going. So like there will be a moving camera in the car. I feel like sometimes I'm like, what? I don't even know who I'm looking at. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was okay. So I did. I mean, I enjoyed like I kind of enjoy it as like a disaster movie. I don't know. I would have maybe enjoyed it more if it was just more focused on if there just was more explosions. I guess I don't know. I mean, I brought up that line about him saying "You're in my world now," and I know you guys like that scene. I thought it was a little bit corny. And
Yeah.
probably one of the corniest parts of the movie for me was when they're I don't know, it would have made the scene more powerful without this, in my opinion, is when they're about to burn them out, the ambassador and the other guy, and the guy has the lighter and the guy's in there like, no, don't do it, no, don't do it. Like, what do you think? Obviously he's gonna do it.
That was a little unnecessary.
I think it would have been better if they, like, I don't know, I also think, personally, I feel like it could have been. I thought it was a little long. I don't know. I thought there were some scenes that were a little unnecessary. I didn't need like the slideshow in the beginning of the different guys talking to their families. Like I get why they showed that.
I didn't even see that.
But yeah, it was mostly John Krasinski, who he did a good job. I liked John Krasinski in this movie. I like him in everything he's in.
Yeah, he's good.
It was mostly focused on him. He did a good job at the end.
The scenes where like Sonya is like trying to
I don't care about her at all. I gotta be honest.
Like that. I understand it. Like it's trying to build into like the plot of everything.
But nobody knows what those people were doing.
Yeah, well, they were the triad. They were the CIA agents. They were there to get more intelligence. So they were the ones they were the ones building the relationships with the people and going to the meetings and shit like that. And then the contractors were just there for security, and then everything hit the fan because obviously the fucking CIA just did a terrible job hiding the annex that was like their secret compound. Like you had little children setting off bottle rockets above you. What the fuck are you doing? There's nothing secret about this.
I also, that was a little dumb, but there was a point in time where the hired guns, like the Islamic hired guns that are supposed to be friendly, you see them running away from the building, and the gates are like open, and then it flashes back, and then it flashes to a different angle, and the gates close, and then it flashes again to another angle, and then all of a sudden more people are running and the gates open, and I'm just like, what is this, like open closed sesame here? Like
wasn't that a flash between the front gate and the back gate?
Seems like that goes back to the editing, doesn't it?
Well, wasn't that just for the front and the back gate? Because there was two gates in the compound.
No, I thought that's what. God. I don't remember. At the compound, yes, but wasn't at the CIA
at the annex?
Yeah, the annex only had one.
Yeah, the annex had the main door, and then they had like the broken. It did have a back door by the farm, by the sheep farm.
That one had two doors, which we saw them running from both. But there was another scene filmed where they were running away from the CIA base because they knew an attack was coming.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's right as they're literally laying people out in the middle of the street and shooting fucking RPGs that, weirdly enough, in every other war movie I've ever seen, for the most part, RPGs never, like, bounce on the ground. But now all of a sudden,
there was one.
Now all of a sudden, it was like 40 of them that like every other RPG scene was a fucking RPG. There was a point where they shot two of them at the same time, and they both ricocheted in the exact same pattern and then hit a car. I was like, okay, let's back this up a little bit. Like, I've also never shot an RPG. I don't think I ever will shoot an RPG or be near an RPG. But something tells me that those fuckers are going fast enough that they're not just gonna fucking bounce off the ground a bunch of times like a fucking rock on water.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a special session called On Hands Podcast, and we're gonna go.
This will be an addition. Yeah, try it in real life. This is the tried in real life playlist where we try those things that happen in some of our favorite action movies. Don't worry, we won't die.
I literally looked it up.
There was
And it
only
says
one. There was only one episode of this playlist. They all tragically died at the first
in an
episode.
RPG explosion.
I think the rating for this is like it's pretty mixed. IMDb puts it at like a 7.3 and Rotten Tomatoes puts it at a 50. I'm kind of shooting in the middle around the concept of like everything that we're
that
talking
boy
about.
Robert gave it a 1. Oh my god!
Wait, who?
Roger Ebert.
Roger.
He gave it a 1.
Oh, what?
So,
Wait, what year was this?
this 2016. This is
Oh,
a
then it had to be Roger. It had to be Roger Ebert's company. Roger Ebert died in 2013.
well, yeah, the RogerEbert.com. Like when you click on it under the review, but it just says Roger Ebert. It doesn't say anything else.
God, I'm sorry. I was going to say something before you brought up Roger Ebert's ghost.
Ooh, Violet.
What? I don't know. What thought I had when you're in a CIA consulate in like a random I don't know. It surprises me that like more people don't know like the language there. Like in Libya, it's mostly Arabic. But I don't know. They had to. I don't know.
Yeah, they had one guy on the
You know what I'm
compound
saying?
who could speak to anybody. That doesn't seem
I,
accurate. Like, obviously, it's based on a true story, so that must have been like what it was really like. But like, I get what you're saying. Only one person there could speak to people. Like, really?
yeah, I don't know. It's just. I guess that wasn't. That's not even a movie critique. That's more just like a real world critique. I guess.
Critique. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I don't know. So, I mean, I guess. Yeah, I don't really have any other technical aspect. Actually, in terms of sound design and sound mixing, it sounded really good.
Yeah, it was very good. I did like the way it sounded.
Gunshots
It was
and
nice.
stuff. Technical aspects were very good.
There was definitely a couple parts I
really
rewinded in my rewatch today because it was just like it was good. It was crisp.
Yeah.
I guess just the only other thing I really don't like is I don't know. In a real world
politicize it.
Yeah, I don't like the CIA, okay? I have my reasons. I have good reasons for it, okay?
Oh,
so I don't
God.
love
They're gonna come for us now.
anything
We're on
in
a
regards
list.
to the CIA just leaves a bad taste in
We're
my
on
mouth
a
in
list.
general.
I do not.
The only other thing I
I
like
don't associate.
I don't associate with that
DDT
comment.
Flash.
With
the attack shouldn't have happened because they shouldn't have been there. Okay, I'm done.
Fair enough.
I'm done. I'm done.
Give
All
your
right.
ratings.
All right.
You go first, both of you.
Alex, this was your movie. You could go first.
I'm gonna give this a 4.
Alex gives it a 4. Yeah, you know what? I'm a big fan of war movies. This one I don't think penetrates like my top 5, but that's because there's some heaters out there. But I did like the sound design. I thought it was a tad long. Could have been a little bit shorter, but acting was good. I always like based on a true story. I'm gonna give this a 4 Squadcast podcast thumbs up out of 5.
Okay, I'm gonna give this one a 2 out of 5 Squad Pass movie podcast. Thumbs sideways, thumbs one sideways, one down, one like going up and down. I don't know. I can't really say thumbs up when I'm only giving it a 2.
Wow, this is our first rating that is less than a 4 Squadcast podcast thumbs up out of 5 at a 3.5 Squadcast podcast thumbs up out of 5 overall rating.
Good. Fuck the CIA. I'm sorry.
My god. I don't associate with anything DG Flash says. I don't associate with not a single word that he said.
We will be moving on to
not a single one.
The next movie.
Pilot.
Okay. Now we move on to I guess this was my newest pick because I kind of been doing great directors. This is Pan's Labyrinth. by Guillermo del Toro.
Which also happens to be a war movie.
Yeah, okay, technically, but it's mostly a dark fantasy movie that is set in the backdrop of the Spanish Civil War.
Yeah, it's a war.
It's a war.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't think of it. That's not really what I think about when I think about it. Anyway, and Labyrinth. From the great, the amazing Guillermo del Toro, who is one of my favorite directors. I love a lot of movies from him. He obviously this one, but also Crimson Peak and Shape of Water. He did a Pinocchio movie that was pretty good.
He also did Pacific Rim, which I really enjoyed.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I love Pacific Rim.
Yeah, that's another. I mean, that's another tip to his hat, dude. He could do like a big blockbuster movie better than other people can. It was kind of this. Yeah, we will. But this one is one of his more, I would say, like complex plots to an extent. I don't know. Well, I said more interesting. I wouldn't say complex. It's more interesting. You know, there's a lot of ideas being thrown at the script for this movie that they did. I would say they mostly managed to put together. If I were to give a synopsis, movie's from 2006, by the way.
Yep.
It is in the Spanish language because it takes place in Spain, and Guillermo del Toro is Mexican. Although he does do English language too. I don't know. I guess it makes sense because he wanted to do it in the backdrop of the Civil War, and it's kind of cool that he has something like that. But I guess basically the synopsis is sort of a real world, mythical world intertwinement that's mostly focused on a young girl, Ophelia, who, while she's living at, like, I don't know, it's like a base of the Francoist regime under her stepfather and her sick pregnant mother, and her stepfather's he's like a vicious captain of the Spanish army.
The Spanish Inquisition.
And she meets, like, I don't know, she meets a fairy and is like led into the labyrinth or the maze, but it's called the Labyrinth. And I don't know. Wow, it's kind of hard to explain because then she meets the creature that tells her she's the reincarnation of a princess.
Yeah, the fawn. Her life is just
the fawn. I'm sorry, I'm trying to.
It's a fairy tale. The whole story is a fairy tale about a princess, because that's how they open it up, telling the story about the princess who is the son of the devil, pretty much, and then she died. And then the devil said, well, she's going to come back. I'll wait until my last, I will never die until, she comes back. And then that's where it picks up with Ophelia and her mom in the car.
Right. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm glad. I needed some help there, so I appreciate you there.
I literally watched it, 2 hours ago. I rewatched it, so...
Okay. Okay, well, let me open it up a little bit. What did you guys? How do you guys feel about this movie?
Well,
did you like it? Did you?
Yeah, I really like this movie. I feel like Alex's chuckle means he's gonna not like it. So let me go ahead and get the good vibes started first before he fucking plunges us into dark. You see how he stepped away from the mic too? He's off in a cave, chuckling like a fucking demon.
Listen, I'm not
kidding.
going to get offended.
I'm kidding.
I personally don't. I don't think the movie's perfect.
No. Okay, well, anyway, look. So I do like this movie. I saw it a long time ago. I would say early 2000s when it came out, and I haven't seen it in a long time. So I was excited to rewatch it, and I forgot about a lot that goes on in the movie. I really enjoyed it. One, because it is partially a war movie. I think it's listed as a fantasy war movie. And the gore in this one compared to 13 Hours in Benghazi is significantly
there's just that one scene, really, I think.
Well, right? there's the scene with the young boy that gets his face bashed in by the bottle.
Yeah, that was messed up.
It's when the captain gets stabbed. It's when he tortures the kid, and then when that creature rips the fairies' heads off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna get to that.
Oh yeah, but yeah. So that. Those are I like that, and then the storyline itself, being a fantasy, just pretty much being a fairy tale is pretty cool. My I kind of got like the ending's a little awkward to me, like the actual ending when she like just appears in hell, but hell is just a golden palace. I was just like, okay, this is.
Well,
I forgot about that.
It seems to be like its own interpretation of it. Like I don't know if it's like because they say the underworld, but like I don't know. I kind of liked it a little bit more the second time around, I think. But I don't because I don't know if it's actually supposed to be like literal hell.
Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be literal hell.
Otherwise, it's like if anything,
much different opinion of this movie.
Well, because it's like it's too like positive. I don't know. It's like it's more like a kingdom down there.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, you didn't kill the baby. Like that was your final test. That you passed. You're a
I
good
think
person."
Initially, I actually didn't like that they showed that part because I thought it would have been. I don't know. You guys can totally disagree with this. This is my opinion. I think it would have been cooler if the only like semblance that they showed that she was like back down there with, because you know it ends with that flower.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been cool if that was like the only way we knew, you know?
Right, like the totem and then the flower. Yeah, that would have been kind of cool. But Alex, what did you think? I'm sorry. Here you go. Let's get. Come on. Just come on. Oh god, he's building suspense. Either that or the underworld got him.
Yeah, it's okay, man. I'm not gonna offended by anything that anyone has to say about this.
I think he's actually like having mic issues.
Oh, it's okay. We'll figure it out, Alex. It's okay. We'll keep it going.
He'll be all right. I saw him toggle his mic. He's good. He's good. But I guess we could just keep going into it.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed all the acting in the movie. Especially Ophelia. I mean, you don't know what you're gonna get sometimes with child actors.
Hello.
Oh, there he is.
Hey.
Hi.
He's back.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So you asked how I felt about this movie. Okay.
Okay.
Let me just crack my knuckles here. I'm going to completely abstain from voting from a story perspective because this was the weirdest freaking movie I have ever watched.
Oh yeah,
in my life.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And
it's a weird movie for sure.
I could not sit and watch it in one go. I had to stop halfway because I was like literally in my mind thinking the letters WTF. I just could not. Everything was going just. I was vibing with it. I was vibing with it for a little while, and all of a sudden we got to like Pale Man, and I'm like,
oh, well, that's kind of a horror scene.
Yeah, and that's where my my enjoyment of horror is more in jump scares and like a thriller style, not what the frick is this thing on my
Pale Man.
That is like
the Pale Man. The
Pale Man. Watching this on like a 60-inch TV in the dark, and I'm like, and I'm done. I am PONE.
Dude, the Pale Man's the best. I love that part.
That. I fucking love
that. I still came back, but I watched it on my phone. I watched the rest on my phone.
He could look at him on the big screen.
Alex had nightmares.
Let me pull up.
I almost probably could have. I was just like, no. But I would hear like story completely aside. I'm gonna just completely put the story aside because I don't have anything good to say about it. The imagery that this director
dude, rip on it. I don't care.
The imagery that this director uses is really, really cool in several instances, in the fact that he manages to really, really, really blend the environment of like what I'm gonna call like the overworld and the underworld, kind of like the fantasy and the real life.
Yeah.
Like it's literally so subtle as you're panning, a tree comes, you're panning, and boom, you're in a different world. Or all of a sudden, it's just like the
Yeah, no, that was cool.
rubbery or
I
whatever
forgot that
opens
they do
up
it like that. Yeah,
into
with
the
the
fantasy
trees.
world, and it comes back, and you're back in the real world. Like it pans to the guy all bloody
Yeah.
and everything. So it's like I was really amazed at how like the director did in this movie, and like outs like if I were to like completely throw the story aside, I'm at like a solid 4.5, 4 for this movie. It was I
I'm gonna save
enjoyed
your
that
ratings.
that perspective. Story
Um,
a 1,
yeah.
a 0. I don't know something.
Okay. Well, you do your averages later. So what I'll say to that, first of all, the thing about there is a little funny that you find it so weird because in terms of, I don't know how many you have seen, Latrell. In terms of Guillermo del Toro movies, this is on the tame side, man. I mean,
Oh
there's
yeah.
some.
Oh, it's so
This is
tame.
the Shape of Water is weirder than this one. So is Crimson Peak. I mean, Crimson Peak has incest in it. Like, I don't know. Shape of Water, she's like in love with a lizard man. Like,
Yeah, this one is
I'm
pretty
just
tame.
so it is kind of funny. So it's kind of funny to hear you say that. One thing I I brought this up when I talked to my brother about Guillermo. He is some people's favorite director. I wouldn't say he's mine, but one thing I would say about him is he makes. I don't think anybody makes movies quite like he does. I would say, I don't know. This might be a hot take for people who really like him, but he, in a way, he reminds me a little bit of Spielberg. But I think the difference is like, especially when he does some of his fantasy elements. But the difference is Spielberg keeps his fantasy and his real world stuff movies separate, whereas Guillermo, well, he's not afraid to do something like combining them, like putting a fantasy movie like this in the backdrop of the Spanish Civil War, which is I think is really cool. No one's done that, you know.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's pretty cool. I don't know if you were here. You might have been broken up when we were talking about it. I really enjoyed all the acting performances. You know, you don't always know what you're going to get with a child actor, but
Oh
the
yeah,
girl who played Ophelia did a really good job.
no, the
And
acting level on this was pretty fucking good too.
hey,
Which is
yeah, I'm
why
kind of
it was so.
yeah.
Which is why
I'm
it was.
Well, I'm kind of curious, actually, Alex, of your opinion a little bit about something with the ending, because I remember you didn't. That was the thing you didn't really like about Inglorious Bastards was that the girl who was being hunted down by Landa didn't get to actually like kill him herself. That is sort of like what happened, but it's also kind of a bleak ending because he shot the little girl. But like the person that he was actually like harassing the whole movie was the one who got to like say he'll never know your name, and then they shoot him in the
Yeah,
face.
Mercedes.
Mercedes, that's right. I'm doing terrible with the character names right now.
Yeah, Vidal's the captain.
Vidal, yeah. I don't know. What do you think of it?
I mean,
I
I,
don't know.
I was gonna say I liked it.
Different settings, in my opinion, or
For
different
sure.
situations.
I thought that was awesome when she said that. She said he won't even know your name, and then
Yeah,
they just shoot him.
he was like, tell my son the time that I died. She was like,
Yeah,
no, he's never
that
gonna
no.
know your name. And then
Never
her
your name.
boyfriend or her, which I don't even know if they ever said his name. But then he just pulls up the pistol, and then the fact that he shot him underneath the eye is crazy,
Yeah,
crazy work. You just see his eye go up. I was like, that was a nice little touch there.
yeah. Didn't God? Isn't there a part where he gets stabbed a bunch of times?
Yeah,
I'm trying to think.
It's right
Yeah,
before
when
that
he
he
breaks
catches
free, right?
Mercedes, and she has the potato or the knife she cuts the vegetables with, and she stabs him 3 times and then jokers him up a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was cool too. I don't know. That probably Alex, that probably made you squirm.
A lot of this movie did.
A lot of this movie. Okay, yeah, that's another gory aspect, I guess, when they did that.
Yeah, that part was crazy. And he screams at his servant or the like second in command. He kind of looks like Two Face a little bit. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a complex kind of a fairy tale. It's got allegories. I was looking up some discussion about it. Man, people have really done some deep dives on this movie. There's people that think the whole thing's in the little girl's head. There's like, I don't know. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not going that deep.
Yeah, you could probably dig real deep into this movie, to be honest. There's a lot of elements to it, and I mean, there's a part that I guess I didn't understand, or I do understand, but like I don't like the way they did it, because at the beginning of the movie, you see the little girl dead, pretty much, right? But then all the blood like soaks back up into her nose, and then at the end of the movie, I expected the same thing to happen, but that part doesn't happen, and then it kind of shows her like kind of wake up a little bit, and then she's dead, and then it goes to the underworld scene, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why? Pick one or the other. Either she's just dead, and she's in the other world, or the blood goes back up, and like her soul is set back free on the earth or something. I don't know. I just thought that was weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have to watch it again, to be honest. I gotta. That's interesting. I'm sure there's some purpose behind it. I just don't. Yeah, I couldn't tell you right now. Now I kind of want to check it out.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's literally like beginning and then very end. Definitely check that out. It's an interesting little like nuance to it.
Uh, Alex probably won't agree, but I thought the monsters were cool.
I like the monsters. The fawn was cool.
The fawn was cool.
The toad was gross. Cool. The pale man's sick. The fucking toad. Really, the cockroaches creep me the fuck out, but the toad was goofy.
This movie, it won a couple of Oscars, like decent ones. I think it won for its cinematography, which was well deserved in my opinion. It looked beautiful. It looked great.
It won a lot.
The lighting was really good. It makes me wonder, like, why the hell can't more, like, I swear this movie looked better like shooting at night. Like the nighttime shots and the nighttime scenes were shot and lit so much better than movies that like I see like today. Right. I swear. Dude, like, how'd they get worse at that?
It's won 7 Academy Awards: Best Makeup and Hairstyling, Cinematography, Production Design in 2007, Production Design in 2006, Best Original Score.
It was nominated
for all these Best Original Screenplay and Best Feature Film.
Yeah. It won for Best Art Direction, Best Cinematography, and Best Makeup.
Yeah.
And nominated for Screenplay and just for being a man. And this was back when there were still 5 picture nominees. It would have easily been in a 10. It's really stupid that it now I got to look at what the fuck was up for picture that year. That's kind of, I got to be honest with you.
What would it be, picture of the year 2007?
I don't know. Yeah. That's. Well, that was the year that Departed, so I can't get too mad about that. Add it to the list, by the way. No, we didn't need the Queen in there. We didn't need, in my opinion, Letters from Iwo Jima, but the other 2 could have stayed. Anyway. Well, let's all right. What do you guys say we go to our ratings? Is there anything else anyone has to say?
No, that's
any other notes?
I'm pretty wrapped up.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So. Yeah, like I said, there's not. I guess before we go to our ratings, my only other really like complaint about the movie is like, I don't know. I thought there were a little bit of like mild conveniences and just like a couple of annoying character decisions. I guess one small example is her eating that damn fruit, but I know she's a child.
Yeah, that's
but
fair.
Whatever. It's like, I don't know. I feel like even if you're a child, if someone says don't eat the food at the table of the scariest looking fucking guy you've ever seen, while you're looking at pictures of him eating children, I don't know. How do you not? I would just like do what I got to do and get the hell out of there. I don't know. I feel like even if you're a young kid, you're not thinking to do that. I don't know.
I agree.
He also did it. Him like creeping up behind her for the longest time is a little annoying. Like you could clearly hear him.
Yeah, homie was just tiptoeing around.
Yeah. Yeah, I was originally I was gonna say I didn't like the ending that much, but I don't know. I appreciate it a little more of a second watch. All right, going to our ratings. I'll go first. Yeah, I'm just gonna give it a straight 4 out of 5. Squadcast thumbs up. Fuck, I don't know.
Squadcast podcast thumbs up.
I'm bad at that. All right, what y'all?
Yeah, I like this movie. I'm gonna give this one. I'm gonna match it. I'm gonna also give this one. I'm straight 4 today. 4 Squadcast podcast thumbs up out of 5.
Okay, listen, Alex. I know you gave your movie a 2, and I'm sure you're a little upset about that. But I feel like you can give my movie a little bit of grace.
He's gonna give it a
1.
1. I told you.
Fuck you.
No, I like I'll be free. Like on this, I'll give it a 3.5, in my opinion.
3.5.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
again, I'm putting the story completely aside, and the cinematography, the acting, like everything just comes just really well together and really surprised me. I'm not watching any more of his movies except for Pacific Rim, but 3.5.
Well, that's
Yeah,
fair.
okay.
So I believe that is an overall Squadcast podcast 4 out of 5. 4 out of 4
Okay.
Squadcast sponsor guys thumbs up out of 5. Fuck, now you got me fucking it up.
Oh, this is fun. Okay. Wow, we did it. If you guys don't, yeah, hey, we did it. Where's the
Woo! Oh.
hello?
Oh.
They're waiting. They're waiting. Yay! We did it. We got through this episode.
We did it.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna take a break from war movies of all kinds.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Actually, I think we're planning to do our first trilogy episode next episode, right? I think that's what we wanted.
Is that what we're gonna do?
I think so.
Lord,
Just to give a little
Lord
teaser
of the,
to
Lord of the Rings.
those. Okay, yeah, let's just tell them everything, Joe.
Hey,
Not like
I'm
anything
just
a surprise.
tossing out movies right now. There's so many trilogies.
That is an option.
Like, damn, I didn't say that was what we were gonna do. We can watch anything.
It's an option.
It's an option.
Oh my god! All right, we're getting cranky. Let's get out of here.
All right. Well, that was fun.
Right. Yes, another good episode. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah.